This video is sponsored by Win-Win Technology, your ultimate flight sim hardware solution, featuring the Orion hotels, current and future configurations.
Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. It's another Monday, well for us anyway, and therefore it's time to crack on with our Naval series, Viewer Suggestion 28. What about the Exocet missile, brackets French carrier group? I'm going to get rid of that, because we don't need that bit. And this also allows us to test our list of missiles. Where is it? Exocet there. It's French. It's going to be fired by a Rafale, and it can target moving ships. So Exocet. Now, this is one missile that we don't have in the core game of DCS, and I don't know a lot about it. I know they were used relatively widely in the Falklands War in the 1980s, and I know they've been exported to various countries. Other than that, I've always just assumed they're like a Harpoon, subsonic sea skimming missile. So Simba, here is our role play. We've decided to do French versus British. So here is the UK carrier group. This is a real UK carrier group, CSG 21. In our roleplay, it's returning from the South China Sea, currently at cruise speed, 80 knots, heading for Portsmouth to dock, which is somewhere around here. Now, obviously, this is unrealistic in that, well, A, they're slightly on the wrong path, and B, there's obviously no way they would be in full battle formation with their full accompaniment on their way back home in friendly waters. But let's just pretend. At the centre, of course, we've got the QE, the Queen Elizabeth, R08. She has on board her 2 squadrons of F-35 Bravos, 617 and 809 squadron. Each of them is loaded up with a bunch of AMRAAMs, some Cs, some Bs, and some Hobbs as well. That is a total of 16. Next, their on loan Arleigh is 4 miles, 3 miles out in front. Forward quarters, we've got a Type 45 destroyer. Today it's actually firing American missiles because we can't get it to fire the Asters. In terms of performance in-game, it's not going to make much difference. Type 45 there. There are 3 coalition frigates with the real CSG 21. I don't have any of them in game, so I'm just using some old OHPs to act as them. That's the British CSG 21. As well as that, we have on scramble at an old World War II base, because it's the best I can do in this simulation, a whole squadron of Typhoon fighters with a bunch of AMRAAM Cs. That will have to do for now. The British have spotted a large movement of French aircraft heading westbound over northwest France. However, this isn't particularly unusual to see during exercises. That said, they've never seen it before, coincidentally timed when we have a British carrier group heading for Portsmouth. So the British in this roleplay are on QRA alert. They have a alert status set up so that if the French aircraft go within this circle here, this boundary towards the French coast, then the British will scramble. So as soon as the French aircraft get within this boundary here, 617, 809 and the fictitious Typhoon squadron will scramble and intercept, but they don't want to scramble any sooner. There are tensions between France and Britain at the moment of this roleplay, and you can make your own roleplay up for that. The French are attacking with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flights, total 30 Rafale Bravos. Each Rafale Bravo is flying with 1 times Exocet missile, the most modern version of the AM-39. Again, I don't know much about it. And 4 times Mika IRs for self-defense. They are tasked with flying on the deck to avoid as much radar and be as inconspicuous as possible until they get within range of firing. Now in DCS, the missile range is 50 miles. In real life, I'm certain it will be higher than that, but that's just how it is in game, so work with it. Once they get to these waypoints here, just about within range, they will fire indiscriminately at the carrier group. I say indiscriminately because they can't target an actual vessel. They can target the carrier group, and I think this is true with all missiles, all self-terminal guided missiles in existence. You can fire at the carrier group, but you can't tell it which ship to go for. When the missile gets within range of the carrier group, it will turn on its own radar, it will find its own target and decide based on its logic of which it should go for. And there's one caveat to this: because of how the missile works in game, these aircraft have to be at least 5,000 feet MSL to fire the missile, otherwise the missiles just drop into the water. I think it's some kind of bug at the moment, so we're pretending that they're traveling at 50 feet. That's our role play. In the actual game, I'm having to make them go at 5,000 feet for the missiles to work. So again, you just have to pretend a bit for that. It's programmed so that it should be a time on target strike. So although they're coming from different distances and different radials, they should launch their missiles all at the same time, plus or minus a few seconds, which is realistic to have a bit of variance like that. Weather is not inclement, it is British, and so it's a bit cloudy. Wind is minimal. And finally, we have our human player, of course, because we always like to add the human touch to spice things up. It is Simba. Say hello, Simba.
Hello.
He's part of the same strike, but he's not time on target. He's doing his own thing. He's got his own Rafale M, because for a player, it just has to be a bit different. His graphics aren't working properly. I don't know why, and I don't really care. He's got an Exocet, he's got some pods, and he's got his Mika IR. Your job, Simba, is to basically follow your guys in and shoot at the carrier group if you can do it and try not to die. After all these guys have launched their missiles, they are programmed to go directly back to base and land. And that's it, really. I had the idea of having fighters up for the French, but that goes past what I want the simulation to do. All I really care about is, can the French get their missiles up in time before the Typhoons and their stealths get to them? Probably, I imagine, bearing in mind the current setup. And what damage will those Exocets do? So, for the overall objective, Simba, how do you think the French are going to do today?
I think they're going to hit the Queen.
Okay, I have no idea. Let's face it, it's all about how the missile is programmed in DCS. I did have a quick look in the Lua file, and it was incredibly complicated, and I gave up quickly. So I've got nothing really to add. But we've got 30 and 30 missiles TOT. Usually, we say above 30 missiles altogether, TOT, coming in from more or less the same direction. It usually beats anything, including the Nimitz-class US carrier group, including the Russians, including the Chinese. So this should, I think, be touch and go. It just starts overwhelming the Aegis type system at about that point, but we'll see. So stand by for fun. Welcome in. The first thing you'll notice is the absolute small distances compared to the vast distances that we're used to doing, like Persian Gulf, the Black Sea, stuff like that. As soon as you get to Britain and France, everything's super small. I mean, look at these distances we've got involved today. The whole, sea, the whole channel is 24 miles across. And then this entire map is 127 miles across, which is absolutely tiny. So you have to remember to scale everything down. I mean, it's a massive difference just the way the countries work. If you go to England or Britain, how squashed up everything is compared to the rest of the world. Simba, are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go. Shouldn't see any crashes today. No, we're all good. Let's go and have a look at the today's fleet. Spread 7 miles by 6 miles in typical battle configuration. It has a 360 defensive. Again, obviously they wouldn't do this in peacetime waters, but it's what we're here to do at the end of the day. Beautiful Queenie. As soon as the alert fighters are summoned, they will literally just spawn on deck. So you might as well just pretend they are on deck at the moment. In real life, again, in peacetime waters, they wouldn't be ready at all like this. But files should be going about 50 feet to protect the radar signature. But again, I've had to do this as I've explained. You won't believe how long it took me to get these Exocets working, by the way. They're incredibly temperamental, as you're about to find when you launch your Simba. So I suggest launching roughly when they launch. That's it. Nothing else is going to happen until they hit the Maginot Line. Distance from carrier group to Rafales, a measly 70 miles. Now, what would happen in this in real life? What would Britain be thinking? These guys would probably show up on one radar because of the small distances. I mean, look, we're talking next door, 25 miles. But what would you actually do? Would you say the French are coming to attack? Would you risk QRA against the French? Really hard to know. Hitting the water, and they're going fast, 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 just as a real strike would. Going to make their turn, and then fire their missiles quite soon. Oh, okay, we've scrambled now. The lightnings are on their way, as you can see. The Typhoons will also be going up. That is not an RAF spec runway, but it should do the job. And we should at some point see some missiles out. Again, they should all be launching roughly at the same time. Edge of France there, the beginning of England there. Look, Dover, the White Cliffs of Dover. God, it's so small. It just makes you think how small the Battle of Britain was in terms of actual size. Okay, there's their TOT turn. They'll be launching soon. Oh, there they launch. Now they're showing us solid rocket motors here. Do the real Exocets have solid rocket motors? Dunno.
I would think so.
I mean, they're traveling at 2,000 knots. That's Mach 3? Mach 4, maybe? Over 2,000 knots. Diving from 5,000. Going for maybe a 2,500 knots. Can a real Exocet do 2,500 knots? I don't know. But, I mean, they're going to be so hard to intercept at that, that kind of speed. Lightnings are doing their thing. Getting high, getting fast. AMRAAMs will be in the air soon due to the small distances shown today. Little inclement. Wow, look how far. Okay, the 2s are already up. SA2s representing also the Asters today. More lightning's going up. Now things are going to start happening really quickly here. I don't really care about the Rafales now, whether they intercepted or not, because, well, obviously they haven't been. Nothing can get up that quick. Now, the missiles, the thing that's really shocked me is the speed of the missile. 2,600 knots. What? That's Mach 4, Mach 5? So quick, the SM2s, if you can see that. Now this is interesting. Some are going high, some are sea skimming. What is that all about? Gone above the first layer of clouds and they're diving down. It's really hard to know what we're gonna. Okay, we're gonna have to obviously slow this. Oh, they hit the aeroplanes. What the heck? Some of them went for aeroplanes. It's all turning into a big mess now. Some are getting through, I think. Oh, we've got some really weird stuff going on now. This one's going for the carrier. It's got through. No, beautiful Queen. The Queen's been hit. All the planes are on fire. More are coming in. Oh, you kidding me? Oh, thingy's down. And some have gone high. Some have gone wrong. Some have gone off the edge of the map. And SM2 is still chasing them, which is weird. What's happened with these guys? They have just gone. Whoa, look at that. That happened so horrendously fast. There is no way a battle group could organise that. The speeds were going on hypersonic. There's a vessel on fire there. The poor carrier. Oh, it survived. It survived. But you know, you got hundreds of deaths there. Exocets are they penetrating missiles, so that they've gone off the side of the map. Oh, and a massive air war is ensuing. Now the Rafales, if they'd done what I told them, would have just ran away. But of course, DCS. So have fun with that, Simba. We'll watch this fight a little bit, and then we'll go and do the BDA, and probably watch it back in TAC view because everything happens so fast. Goodbye, Rafale. Simba wants to go in for his typical dogfight. Giant Charlie Foxtrot. The things are still moving. The F-35s have made an absolute hash of shooting these guys down. Bear in mind, they're completely defenseless. Well, not completely defenseless, as you're about to see. Oh, good dodge, good dodge. But, you know, they could have shot them from miles away. But maybe that would happen in real life, you know. I mean, the whole thing was just an absolute... Everything was scrambled. There was no battle plan there. Maybe it would be like this. Micah's coming out. Micah's had missed. Whoa. Boom! Reds are going down slowly. That guy's got no nose. Someone shot down. M120C. Boom! Fell down. Chase him. Whoops! That's an AMRAAM shooting an F-35 down. How embarrassing for the British. Boom! In the face. Micah IR's going after... Oh, the Typhoons are in. About dang time. Typhoons are in. Okay, we're starting to clean up now. No amount of rolling's going to beat that, mate. Oh, son of a... Oh, so much going on. Obviously, the French would have just ran away. They wouldn't have sat and done this. Sometimes DCS gives us these little gems. Gives us these little dogfights. Good guns kill from a Typhoon. What an RAF. Guns fight. Oh, it could be a potential friendly fire. Right, is that the last of them down? When did you use Simba? You must have died at the beginning. Right.
I just died.
There's a bit of friendly fire going on there, which is nice to see. That is all of the French down. Now, BDA. So first things, the RAF didn't get out in time to shoot the Raffles down as we thought they would, because just the rules we set up. I think it's unlikely that could ever be stopped. The British, a QE has been not sunk. It's almost impossible to physically sink a carrier in real life. But that it's an ineffective carrier. It couldn't launch any, it can't operate. It's almost dead. And in real life, it probably couldn't even move. It would need tugging, I imagine. So that is a defeated carrier, one way or another. It can't operate. Also, this guy here was a Type 45, got smacked. They just didn't have a chance. There's so many missiles that were going stupid speeds. We're going, I didn't clock them, but I think Mach 4, Mach 5, we're talking better than YJ-12s from the Chinese. I'm going to assume those Exocets are completely unrealistic. Let me know what you think. I think we should go back and watch Attack View and just see what went on there, Simba, because I thought I saw anti-ship missiles shooting down planes. The French are just meeting their borders. Again, what would actually happen if the French did this and those guys were really there doing that? When would the British realise, and when would the British send their Typhoons up? Isn't that an interesting thing to think about? The first Typhoon's on the runway. A bunch of F-35s are already up, and 50 nautical out is what I clocked the Exocet's firing at. They're speeding up with their solid rocket motors as they are in game at a huge mark. And here's the problem. The TOT is a problem because the TOT is nearly perfect to within a couple of seconds, as you can see. And TOT is what destroys a carrier at the end of the day. All missiles coming in at the same time. If they're serial, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then it's not so much of a problem. At the same time, massive problem. Also, the speed, as you know from the Russian supersonic missiles, the speed is lethal because you've got to shoot them down quickly enough. And they're already firing at... They're already firing well over 30 nautical miles, probably about 40 miles. But look at the speed of them. This is real-time movement. They're faster than the SM2s that are shooting them down. That's how stupid this is. But just because it's stupid doesn't mean it's not interesting. So the first ones have taken down. Imagine vampires coming into your battle group this quickly. You might as well go and jump overside. Move it to half speed. Some have gone up. Now, this is an interesting thing. Some have gone up, some have gone low. So it's got a high-low tactic, which missiles do actually do. Some missiles working together with each other can actually do. There's some Russian missiles I know can data link and do similar things. It's weird to see it in the terminal phase, but okay. Still getting shot down. If anything, it makes them an easier target going up, to be honest. SM2s love things that go up. Apart from that. In fact, they're all going up. Look at... No, they're not. About 50% have gone... I have no choice over this. This is how they're programmed in the Lua files. It's nothing to do with what I've set up. Now, that was interesting. What got shot down there? Now, that's...
a 35.
I've never seen this before in my 6 years of DCS. What's happened here is either... There's two options here. Either the missile has tracked the fighter and is going for the fighter. Now, that's not as crazy as it might seem. Bearing in mind, all these... missiles do have their own radars. They lock onto a target and they track it. There are thresholds and gates set up so that it will only go for something as big as a ship that's down low. But potentially it shows that DCS here could be programmed to track smaller objects that might be set. Maybe he'd done that so it can track speedboats and stuff like that. That might be a thing. Or it could just be coincidence and it just so happened that it went past this guy and set the fuse off, though that is a very low chance that they would come in almost direct contact and set a proxy fuse off. So let me know your thoughts there, but I get the feeling it can track any small object at any altitude, which is an interesting thing because we've not seen that, I don't think, from any missile so far since DCS started. I mean, thank God those ones went high and went weird. So the 50% that went up looks like they track the planes, and looks like they're programmed to track the planes. This one might get as well. It's going to hit. Yep, they're programmed to track the planes. So the Exocets in DCS actually are anti-air as well as anti-ship. Realistic? Probably not. I mean, why would you have an anti-ship missile going for planes? But again, You know, I'm not the expert here, so I don't really know. I think they've got normal kind of about 400-pound warheads, something like that. So the damage should be about the same as a AGM-84. This guy, and here's the interesting thing, the phalanxes don't work on them. Look at this. Phalanx should have a high probability of kill, and they do with almost everything in DCS, even supersonic missiles. But look, not a single phalanx kill. That destroyer is dead. Wow, with one 400-pound warhead, that's dead. That's worrying. Remember, these will penetrate and explode inside the vessel, which is what causes the damage. Oh, it's definitely dead now because these are going for its body. Look at that, all that phalanx fire Mother had, and not a single hit. So I get the feeling they've set them so that they're not impossible to intercept because the missiles could, but I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. That's 400 pounds on the carrier. Cheeky SM2 out there. SM2s are amazing. Lots of people saying that they want SM6 in game. SM2s are set up so well in game. They kind of almost are SM6s, not quite, but that's my usual response. To be honest, you don't really need anything much better. Great intercept. You see that there? Amazing. Because they... Oh, so it was only one missile that hit Queenie, and Queenie almost died. Now, isn't that interesting? And that's it. The other ones are the high ones, so they've gone up for fighters or whatever. So, and that's the end of the attack there. So, Simba, what happened was 50% went up and shot the fighters down. Like I said, we've never seen that before. So that's something brand new. And 50% went down, and of which 2 or 3 hit their targets and destroyed it, and to be honest have obliterated the carrier group. That's not an operable carrier group anymore. And then obviously the air war shouldn't have happened. The Rafales should have followed the orders and turned around and gone home, but I don't know, whatever. And then the British wouldn't have been able to keep up because they would have gone into French territory and blah 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 blah. I've just been told an SM2 shot down an aeroplane here, which again I've never seen. There we go. You're right. Well spotted. An SM2 shot down a friendly fighter. Again, never seen. Got a whole bunch of firsts here. I think this was literally wrong place, wrong time. That SM2 will not track that fighter. I can tell you that now. But at some point, within a second of firing or so, it will turn its fuse on. And if it just so happens, in the 1,000,000 chance to go through that fighter's path, within 50 feet or whatever the proxy radius is, it will blow up. And it just so happens, wrong place, wrong time. He went where a missile was, look, and it blew him up. Again, never seen it. Why? Because what are the chances they would fill the same little 50 or 100 foot sphere? Basically almost zero. Would that happen in real life? Yep, absolutely. Nothing you can do about that. Amazing stuff. Well done for spotting that. Really interesting. I'd like your valid view comments to see what's accurate, what's not, what's interesting, what's not. Anything final from Simba Wimba?
Nope.
Okay, bye-bye.